What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stash Free Sports channel. Here to bring you NFL trade prediction video on Panthers wide receiver Diontae Johnson. I believe he'll be traded to the Buffalo Bills by the NFL trade deadline. Now let's get into why, guys. So I think yet again, one more time in 2024, we will see Diontae Johnson traded. If you don't know, he was a former Pittsburgh Steelers receiver. Their receiver one in my eyes. People thought it was Pickens. I thought it was him. But he was traded in the offseason to the Carolina Panthers. I think for Diontae Johnson, all right. Diontae Jackson. Diontae Johnson went to the Panthers for Dante Jackson, the cornerback, and he's made a couple plays for the Steelers, so he had a pretty good showing. Diontae Johnson for the Panthers now, he's been okay, as we know, the first couple of weeks we couldn't really get a good gauge on what was going on. Bryce Young ended up getting benched, all that good stuff. Now Dalton's in there. Johnson's playing okay still, but we know what he can do in a better team with a better system and stuff like that. And I think that's going to come again this trade deadline, and it just makes the most sense. He's moved on from. I don't think now, with the Panthers need a new quarterback, I don't think he's fits their timeline like he once did. He's a guy on a one-year deal, on an expiring contract, perfect for a contender like the Bills that don't have a lot of cap space or even future cap space to spend on guys like a Davante Adams. I'm going to get into it next, right after this portion here of why not Davante Adams and why Diontae Johnson. But it just makes the most sense, man. He really aligns with what the Bills need at receiver. We've seen them struggle. We've seen Josh Allen struggle to pass the ball against the game. Who they play though? Not the Ravens. They just lost to somebody. I forgot who. Was it the Ravens? They lost to the Ravens too, but they played someone the week just a couple days ago. Today's Monday or Tuesday. They did. They played someone. They lost. I forgot who it was now, but was it the Cowboys? Whatever. It don't matter. But basically, whoever they ended up playing, they just couldn't get the ball moving. And we saw Khalil Shakir, who's the number one receiver right now, stepped up, having a good year so far. He was out and relying on guys like Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel. Just couldn't get it done. You need someone like Diontae Johnson who can get open, good route runner, good hands, and get some separation. Something that Curtis Samuel and Keon Coleman and other guys right now lack the skills to do so. Especially with Coleman, he's a big body guy, not that fleet of foot. So he's gonna have. You saw he can break a tackle and run, but he's not gonna make that much separation. He's more of a contested catch guy like my guy from my team, Drake London. Not gonna outrun you, but you better tackle. He's a big boy and can move after the ball is caught. You just gotta get some separation first and gotta bring him down. But overall, though, I love the fit for Diontae Johnson with the contender. We seen the game last night, Chiefs versus the Saints. They don't really need nobody else. Juju stepped up. Xavier Worthy did well. Kelsey still Kelsey. They have Noah Gray and all that stuff. So they don't, and all the running backs they have, they'll make it work. I don't think they added anyone else. McCole Hardman, he's still a factor, given in a certain situation and stuff. So you see the Chiefs, they're probably going to keep it how it is from what reports say. So looking like the Bills will look to add, Jets, Saints are in for Davante Adams. Now on to Davante Adams. Why not the Bills? Now, obviously, Adams makes sense for the Bills, but looking at the contract, you're going to have to pay him long term. If it's kind of counterintuitive. You let go of Stephon Diggs, who had years left on his deal. And I think Diggs is a little bit lesser of a player, skill and status wise than Davante Adams, but it's not that far off. So if you needed a Stephon Diggs number one style wide receiver, and you had Stephon Diggs, why give him up? And you turn around a couple months later and get another guy who's a known diva, who can create chemistry issues, who, also you need to create chemistry with the new quarterback. That's why it makes sense for Adams to say, or the report is he wants to play with the quarterback he knows already, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers. That makes the most sense. So, you're going to come in halfway through the year and you're going to want the ball, need the ball, and Josh Allen, for example, is going to feel the pressure to give you the ball because you're their new guy. They want you there long term. If they trade all them assets for you, second round, third round pick in some sort of combination, whatever it is, they're gonna say, hey, we need to keep him long term, keep him happy. And it's hard playing team ball like that. I think with Adams going to the Saints, going to the Commanders, going to the Jets, and the Commanders, I threw them in because they're my personal prediction I did on my channel. I still believe in that move because of Cliff Kingsbury's system kind of allows for him to spread the ball, allows for Jaden Daniels, to spread the ball around. Unlike others where, I think Rodgers would solely target Lazard and Adams. And as I said before, I don't love him going to the Jets because he'll kind of take away from Garrett Wilson's growth. Same for the Saints. That's why I picked the Commanders. You have Chris Olave who needs to grow more. You have Rashid Shaheed who's on fire. You can't take away from them to give to Adams. So, I think a dark horse team might snatch up Adams, but staying back on track to the Diontae Johnson to the Bills, that's all that sums up, why Adams is not a good fit for the Bills. Have to pay him long term. As I just said, the Bills are tight on cap for this year, rest of this year, next year, and the year after that, if I'm not mistaken. So their future cap isn't so hot, same as their current cap. So it's like you're gonna have to pick and choose what you're gonna do. And I think a top receiver like Adams is wishful thinking, is awesome, but you just had one and let him go in Stephon Diggs. The Texans, that's what it was. The Bills played the Texans. That's what it was. Shoot. So yeah. All that being said, Diontae Johnson, his caliber wide receiver, obviously not as good as Adams, but he'll give you, just good play, good receiving skills to pair with Shakir because as we see right now, Coleman, who's made a couple plays, but is not really consistent. They're not really plays where he's making guys just missing tackles and he's breaking away and doing his thing, which is still awesome. He's a big body guy and he does it huge size for a reason. But at the same time, you can't really rely on him to make more than 5 catches per game because he's not really going to get that much space and he's not ready right now for that role. Curtis Samuel, as I said before, I said in the past, he's more of a gadget guy. Never really stood out to me as a wide receiver. Still does, still doesn't now. Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, they haven't really came alive yet. I'm surprised because, I put all my bread on Kincaid to have a breakout year, and it's not really happening as I thought. So, it's been on Shakir and James Cook to really be the best players around Josh Allen. So I think one more guy could help bump down Curtis Samuel, bump down Keon Coleman, and you rely on Johnson, Shakir, and the 2 tight ends, plus James Cook. I think that'll be, the main weapons. Then you have alternate guys like Coleman, like Curtis Samuel, who can make things shake in certain situations and stuff like that. So that's why I see it going. But long story short, Johnson's a good receiver. And I had to fight Steelers fans on this because, like I said, they were trashing Johnson the last couple of years, especially my trade prediction video. I had him going to the Chiefs, not to the Panthers for Diontae Johnson this summer, spring, summer, whenever it happened. But Steelers fans were telling me that he's not a wide receiver one. I mean, it depends on who's around him. Pickens, who hasn't had a great year either, because the quarterback situation there. But he's not a receiver one in my opinion either. Not quite yet. He has to show more. So I still held Johnson as receiver one in that Steelers team the last couple years. I know Pickens is more talented, bigger, all that stuff. I think better hands or better crazy catch, radius and all that stuff that Pickens had over him. I still thought Johnson was a slightly better as far as what we saw on the field, not just skill, athleticism, stuff like that. And I think he'll bring something more to the Bills team: separation, hands, route running, and him and Shakur are kind of similar in the same style of player. Not overly athletic, not gonna beat you or crush you downfield, but they're gonna get separation. They have good hands and they can get the job done, and that's all you need in Buffalo. You don't need a big name. You don't need to go big name hunting. I did a video on my Falcons on why we should not even look at or consider Davante Adams, and my fellow Falcons fans got mad at me. But the same thing for the Bills. You don't need to go big name hunting. Get someone who helps out. You don't need to go big name hunting because those big names sometimes bring some problems, bring baggage, and bring a lot of money too. That you don't want to have to pay because you need other things in the future. Like my Falcons, we need linebacker, we need pass rusher, we need depth. A lot of spots. We don't just need a receiver. We don't need a receiver. It's good to have one. We don't need one. And the Bills in the same vein. They don't have to have a receiver, but they can definitely use one. I think Johnson will come cheaper, and he will give you good production for this Bills team. But that's it for video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.